Hello guys, today we are going to do something very interesting, especially if you are a senior engineer or if you are a tech lead or if you are expecting to go for an interview to become a senior engineer or a tech lead. This video is so important to you. And also, even though you are not, this is so important you understand this because this is something most people don't teach, and also this is something most people don't understand. Alright? Because like sometimes we just saying things because someone else saying. This topic is one of that. So when we do interview for senior engineers and tech leads, we get some question from technical design perspective, how you design this solution. Then security playing a major role over there. So most people saying, when we ask how you're going to secure your system, they say we are going to use HTTPS. Okay, why? Because if you use HTTP, then other people can see the data and then it's not safe. Then we ask how other people can see your data, and they don't have answer. Why? Because they're saying that because someone has told them to so, right? And they're saying so, someone else told them so. So very few people understand what is this other people see this data concept. In this video, we are going to practically see how other people steal your data, steal your password, usernames, credit card, and all those information. How other people steal your data when you browse website with HTTP, and why HTTP is important. And also, probably next video, if we don't have enough time, we are going to discuss how even HTTPS website can misdirect you to steal your data. This is not the one and only video out there for teach this, but most of the videos out there are like they use either Kali Linux and they're using VMs, and it is not the real environment. They kind of demonstrate this through the lab environment. Instead of that, I'm going to demonstrate this with a real environment. I'm going to show you how this really happened. I'm going to use my this MacBook as an attacker, and there's other MacBook. I'm going to use that as a victim, or the one who are going to attack. And also we are going to use a standard Mac OS. We don't use any Kali Linux or any penetration related operating system, right? This kind of a real world scenario what we are going to do. But full disclaimer before we start this video, this is completely education purpose only. Do not try to go to your coffee shop and intercept this traffic and steal other people's password. This is illegal. No matter which country you are, this is illegal, right? If you get into any trouble by trying to doing this, I'm not responsible for such cases any manner. I repeat, okay? Right. So this is education purpose only. All right. So now let's see how this works, how we can perform this type of thing and why this happened. So usually computer use a protocol called ARP, Address Resolution Protocol. We call this as ARP protocol. How this ARP protocol works is when you want to go to some website, you're just broadcasting a message to your network saying who has, and you ask in the gateway IP address. And everyone listen this message, but gateway responded to you with a MAC address saying, hey, I have this whatever the IP you're looking for. After that, you send the message to gateway, and the gateway forward your message to destination you want to go. And then when the response comes, gateway take the response and give that response back to you. That's how everything works. When ARP poisoning, how does this work? So some attacker is sending a message to you. We are going to see these messages in wire, right? So the attacker sending a message to you saying, hey, I am the gateway. Now you forget the original gateway, and now you think this is the gateway because it trying to keep saying this. And then what happens is you're forwarding your traffic to the attacker. Attacker read the traffic, and then it's let into forward to the real destination, and attacker in the middle reading all these things. That's why we call man in the middle attack, right? So if we see a simple diagram, so now this guy asking who has 1.1.2.2, and everyone get the message. Then 1.1.2.2 see this message, right? And it build the response, and it send this response back to the device A, right? And so now device A knows who is the 1.1.2.2, and then they can do the communication. So how does this work? When the attacker comes, attacker manipulating this address. So we are going to see this, right, in a while. But how we are going to do this, I have this machine. This is my attacker machine, and I have other machine which you don't see, but I'm going to share that screen with the screen recording, so you will see a whole thing how it's going, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a tool called intercept for this one, and I'm using intercept UI mode so you can see this better, but otherwise intercept you can always use the command line. Now, I mentioned in the beginning of this video, even with the SSL based website, someone can trick you saying this is secure, but it's not really secure, because they pop up a message saying, hey, this is, are you sure want to trust this certificate? You say, yes, I understand the risk, and then you become vulnerable. So I'm going to show you, if we have enough time today, how we can do the SSL strip to do this type of attack. But if you're doing the SSL strip, you need to do something special. You need to go to user local etc ettercap and then edit etter.conf, and you need to make sure these lines are uncomment, right? So doesn't matter which operating system you're using, though I'm demonstrating with a Mac, even though you are using Linux, right? So you can see if it is a Linux, just uncomment these lines. So since I'm using the Mac, I uncommented this line. Right, so, and then you have to do one more thing. This is not relevant to the basic capturing, but if you're, especially if you're doing the SSL strip, you need this configuration as well. So what does this do is, usually when the traffic come to this machine just process it. That's it. That is how computer works. That is how they were told to do it, right? When someone send the traffic to you, you just use it. But we need to tell, hey, just forward the traffic, right? So we need to enable the traffic forwarding also in order for this to work, right? So how you can do this in a Mac like this, but if you're using the Linux, then command is a little bit different. Then you can just Google saying how you can forward the traffic, right? You can see it's set to 0 to 1. So you just, if you're using Linux, just Google how you can forward the traffic on Linux, okay? So now, basically, we are setting even for the SSL strip, because I don't know whether we have a time or not. So therefore, I'm just setting up everything. So now everything is ready. I'm going to load my ettercap. It should be sudo ettercap. I'm going to use the graphical user interface. And let's see, it's somewhere, yes. Okay, that's how you look this. Right, so we have the ettercap running. So let's go back to victims and see what is the IP address. Now you might think, okay, do we need to know the IP address? Technically, yes, if it is easy, if you know the IP address, but if you don't know the IP address, you can just attack the entire network, right? So let's see what is the IP address, and it is 192.168.1.9, and remember this MAC address, right? It is F76D, okay, right? And now that's it. So now we need to see what is their ARP cache. So let's do ARP minus A. So now you can see here, it cached the ARP, right? But the MAC address is 94, end with a 94, right? That means it thinks gateway MAC address is 94, end with a 94, right? Right, so now we are good. So we come back to our attacker machine. What we do is we are going to start the attack, right? And now we need to do little configuration. So we need to see first what are the hosts available. You go to host and you get the host list, and that host is not there. So let's ask ettercap to scan for the host. So some people pronounce this, I have heard this ettercap. Doesn't matter, I don't know what exactly name, but I used to say ettercap. Right, so now I have a bunch of devices in my network, right? This is real. Right, this is my home network. I have mobile phones, I have tabs, and I have probably TV. There are a bunch of things, right? So now I know this is my attacker, right? This is my victim machine, and sorry, not the attacker. This is my victim machine. It's a 9 because we saw the IP address. This is my gateway because I know the gateway. I mean, you can see the gateway of the network, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this as a target 1. Right, and my victim as a target 2, right? So now I have added 2 targets, okay? So now I'm going to show you how this real ARP negotiation work, right? How this real ARP negotiation work. To do that, so this is a tool we're familiar with, right? The Wireshark. I'm going to capture all the traffics, this network, right? So, but initially I'm going to capture the ARP traffic, right? So only ARP negotiations. Okay. So now I'm going to start ARP poison. Okay. So I want to remote thing. So now you can see the bunch of messages going. Right. There are a bunch of messages going here. Okay. So this is very important. This is what we need to understand. Right. So now let's go back here. No. So now we'll see. Let's stop this for a moment. Okay. So now you can see this message. If you get this message, right, it says 9, right? It says 9. 9 mean what? My victim, right? So 9 is my victim. So this machine, I am attacker, I am acting as a victim and tell his, what the target IP? 1. I am telling, hey, this is my MAC address. Now not my MAC address, I am saying, hey, I am acting as this my victim and tell gateway, hey, this is my MAC address. And then you can see here, this is a response to that. This, I mean, not response, it's the other way around. What does that mean? It says as a gateway, send IP is a gateway, and it says to my victim, hey, this is my MAC address. Right, so now this is so beautiful, right? So now what the attacker does is, attacker get victim's machine's IP and act as if the message is coming, originate from the victim's machine, and tell to the gateway, hey, I am Alice, let's say Alice, I am Alice, this is my MAC address, right? And now attacker doing other message, acting as a sending from the gateway, targeting to the Alice, saying, hey Alice, I am the gateway. But what it does is, it sends attacker's MAC address to the both, right? So now if you go here, now if we do, see this ARP one before, right? So now if you do the ARP, now you can see 77, right? So this is my MAC address, right? You want to see? This is my MAC address. And if you do if config here, you can see clearly this is my MAC address, right? See C97C877, right? 97C877. What it does is it replace, it keep doing this, right? It replace gateway MAC address as my MAC address as a gateway MAC address. So now what this machine, this victim machine will do is, whenever it want to go to internet, it send the traffic to me, right, instead of the gateway. So now I am sending it to the gateway, I am forwarding it to the gateway, right? See, right? See what I am doing? That's why man in the middle attack. What's supposed to happen? This machine supposed to talk direct to the gateway, and the gateway is supposed to send to the target website. Now what it does is, this machine send the traffic to me, and I read that, and then I send it to the gateway, and the gateway will forward that to the whatever the destination website. So now there's an important thing. You can see here this OP reply saying to. That means it's an unsolicited reply. That means no one asked it. Usually what happens is, this my victim should ask, hey, who has 192.168.1.1? But it didn't ask, right? My victim didn't ask. But voluntarily is saying, that's why I say rip opcode 2 unsolicited, because no one asked it. I'm just saying it, right? So now let's see how I can catch some of traffic, right? So now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to again capture the traffic. Now I go back to victim machines, right? I'm going to now a web browser, and I'm going to some random, right? I don't have, it's not something I hosted. I'm going to go random available website, HTTP login website, let's say search something, okay? So now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to filter the traffic which send as a post request, right? So http.request.post, right? I'm going to filter this traffic. So now I'm going to enter some username and password here. Let's say xman, and password is xman@123, right? I don't know, right? This is not some, this is some site. So now you can see here, so I got the message. If I go here, HTML URL code, see, you can see username and password. If that was credit card information, if that was your personal information, PIN number, whatever, everything what you send from that machine, I can see it from here. Now, this machine will not give you any warning. Any warning. Why? Because this machine is use HTTP, right? So this machine think this is a valid gateway. So no one is bothering about it. You don't know. You are so innocent. So you just type your username, password, your credit card information, your PIN numbers and everything. And I'm in the middle. I'm listening all those and I'm reading all those and then I'm forwarding the traffic. So backend will respond to you. It will come to me and it will go back to you. And everything works smoothly. So you are happy and you don't know I got you all the username, password, credit card and all your data. So important thing is, if someone asks why HTTP is bad, don't just say because others can see the data. No, you can be victim of man in the middle attack. You can be a victim of someone is logging your data through the routers. You can be a victim of someone is logging your data through anywhere in between you and your destination, right? So therefore, based on these reasons, we not recommend to use HTTP and we must use HTTPS. But I don't think I have enough time today to demonstrate you SSL stripe. But the thing is, in the next video, one of the next video, I'm going to demonstrate you. Even if you go through the SSL website, sometime because of users' irresponsible behavior, user just click every message it comes and it say continue anyway. So those type of behavior may let other people to steal your data, right? Let's discuss that in another video. Then till that, stay safe, take care.